Hey guys, it's Faye from Solar Flow, and I am back with another video. Today's topic is all about energy protection. So if this sounds like an interesting topic to you, please stick around, and if not, I will catch you at another video. So first, I just want to say that this has been a much requested topic because as I have been, as you know, on my true crime kick, you guys are reaching out and asking for different tips and tricks or tools that I can bring to you that will help you in making sure you do not become ensnared with these low vibration beings or questionable energetic entities. So this video is all about that. I'm also going to share that while this video and the information herein is going to greatly benefit empaths, this is also going to benefit anybody that is starting to ascend energetically and you just want to make sure that you are as high vibe as possible. And even if it's not that you're going to, let's say, be an energetic match with a low energy person, but you perhaps have like an energy vampire in your family, and you want to make sure that you can protect your life force energy against them, then this video is also for you. Now, in case the term empath is one that you are unfamiliar with, or if you're even unfamiliar with the term energy vampire, I'm going to talk a little bit about that. So an empath, first of all, is someone that is, one could say, very energetically porous. And that can end up affecting a person in any number of ways. It can affect you on the macro, one-on-one interpersonal relationship. It can also affect you very, very, wait, is it macro or micro? No, micro is one-on-one. Macro is big global. So the way it would affect somebody in a one-on-one relationship is, let's say your friend is going through a hard time, you're at her house, you're consoling her, and whatever it is that she is experiencing, you will start to feel that in your own body. So if she is feeling grief, you will start to feel the actual grief. If she is feeling mourning, you will start to feel the actual mourning. So it's vital to learn how to protect yourself because unknowingly, we can just end up attracting all of this energy around us. And if we don't know to protect ourselves, we will end up feeling very, very drained, even if it's on a one-on-one interpersonal relationship that you're having with somebody. Now, the way that that would affect you on a macro scale, yes, macro, going to a concert. This was a big one for me for years before I understood that I was an empath. Every time I would go to a concert, I would just feel absolutely depleted. Not just when I would leave the concert, but literally I could be knocked out energetically for like 2 days thereafter. And that's because when you're surrounded by so many different people and so many different energies and being energetically porous, we can pick up a lot of that energy, right? I've talked a lot about like energy tags. So we're just picking up like left, right, and center, all of these different energy tags. And that can leave us feeling very energetically depleted, very dysregulated, fatigued, tired, knocked out. Any of those words would describe the way that it would feel. I also would experience this when I would go to shopping malls. So it's an enclosed space, lots of different people, and it's not really practical if you're an empath to be like, well, I just can't go to concerts, or I just can't go to a shopping mall, or life goes on. So it's for us to be armed with the information of what we can do so that we can continue to live our lives and not turn into hermits because the energy all around us dysregulates us. So that's on the one hand. So empaths and non-empaths alike will benefit from this. If you are not an empath, but you just know Thanksgiving, Christmas, holidays, whatever, family events, you're going to be around like the weird uncle or the toxic uncle or the whoever in your family, then you will benefit greatly from this as well. Now, there are 5 different tips that I'm going to be sharing, and not all, 4 of them actually are visualizations that you will do when you are in a public place or even if you are around family members. 4 out of the 5 will be where you are imagining yourself in a sphere. So imagine, if you will, you're a baby chick, you're precious, and you are still in the egg, you have not yet hatched. So that egg is the sphere that you're going to imagine yourself in. But we're going to put different dressings on your egg, and I will talk to you about what those specific dressings do, when you will utilize them, and what you might expect will happen when you're utilizing them. Okay? So that's for 4 out of the 5. You're going to imagine yourself in a sphere. And the last one is non-spherical. Okay, so let's dive in. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is imagining that your sphere, your energetic egg, if you will, is protected with barbed wire. Now, barbed wire is typically used when you want to keep people out of a particular place. So what is the purpose of barbed wire? Where would you see it? So for example, you might see it like at a car impound lot. They don't want people climbing in and maybe, I don't know, trying to hotwire or steal a car or something like that. And also you'll see this when they're like, I forgot what it's called, but like at the places where they actually like demo the cars. So you don't want people going in there, they could get seriously hurt. So places like that will typically be surrounded by a chain linked fence. And then on the top of the chain link fence is barbed wire. Now barbed wire is round, and it has little spiky things that are sticking out of it as well. And the purpose of that is that if someone is foolish enough to climb up the chain link fence and try to climb over the barbed wire, the little spikies that are sticking out are actually designed to attach onto the person's clothing. So they will get ensnared in it, and it will be harder for them to extract themselves out of it. Another way of looking at that is it's an energetic deterrent. So when you would be utilizing this energetic deterrent would be, let's say you're on the subway, or you're taking public transportation, or you're in the doctor's waiting room and there's people that are trying to talk to you. It's any time when you just want to be left the fuck alone. There's no wrong time to use this. If you just want to be like in your own energy, in your own space, and you just don't want to be disturbed, it's kind of like in the hotel when you put the do not disturb sign on. That's kind of what barbed wire does, because energetically is sending out the message to stay out. So when you are envisioning yourself in that, energetically the person will feel that they are not welcome. And what might happen is, if you're on the train or subway or whatever it is, they won't maybe try to start to talk to you, or maybe they'll turn their body away from you, or they'll give you space. Because again, that is an energetic do not disturb sign on your sphere of energy, your auric protective layer. That is the first one, barbed wire. It is sending an energetic message you do not want to be disturbed. Okay. The second one is pure white light. Now, I liken pure white light to the difference between passive breathing and active breathing. So, for example, if you're sleeping, you don't have to be thinking in your sleep, I better make sure to breathe or I'm going to die. But you're going to be active, implementing active breathing when you're, for example, in an exercise class or when you're in yoga. So it's kind of like turning up the amplification on your energy, which I know it sounds weird because you're thinking like, if I'm an energetic being, why do I want to amplify that? And here's why. So think about a bright white light at night and how moths will be drawn and attracted to that bright white light. It's almost like they're zombies. They are completely powerless to stop themselves. They are just attracted to it and they are drawn to it. What happens when they get to it? They can't penetrate it. They cannot permeate it. So they are driven into a frenzy by it. So when you are amplifying your pure white light, that is done with the intention of actually repelling the darker entities. And here's why. I'm going to go back to the difference between passive and active breathing. If you are a light worker or if you are a light being of any kind, then a dark entity is automatically going to be attracted to you. They're going to be attracted to you for any number of reasons. They're almost feeling powerless. They're like zombies in that situation. But a big one actually is that looks like a nice place to put down their heavy baggage, right? You're so nice, white and light, you don't have any issues. This is a great place for me to just slide into and to start unloading all of my issues here because you don't look like you have any. You're so light energetically. Here, you can take on some of my darkness. So, when that happens, what you want to actually do is amplify the light. Because then what happens is, first of all, you're no longer an energetic match with that person in any way, shape, or form. But the light is almost so blinding to them that it disorients them and it repels them. So now, when that darker person with the darker energies and the darker intentions is coming in because they maybe want to unload their issues onto you, it's almost like they can't even see you anymore because you're so white and so bright with your energy that is around you, it is blinding to them. So they don't see, here, this is a great place that I can unload. It's almost like they can't even handle the brightness. So think about it. Like imagine you're standing outside. You can like glance up at the sun, but can you stand there for a prolonged period of time and just stare full on at the sun? No, it's too bright. So when you actually amplify your internal light by protecting yourself externally with it and amplifying it, it actually does the opposite and it will repel a darker negative energy. So that is a really, really great protective one. If you know that you're going to be perhaps at an event or something like that, where there's going to be a family member or a friend or whatever the case is, and you know that they're going to want to come and unload on you, or they're toxic and they're going to want to project their toxicity onto you, you just amplify your bright white light and that will repel them. Now, another one that is similar, but however different, is mirroring. So this is where you're going to imagine that your sphere is actually covered in mirrors. This works great if you are in any sort of a hostile environment, like, for example, I don't know, maybe you work with a Karen. Maybe you're in the grocery store and the person behind you is a Karen. It's when you're in an environment where you, for whatever reason, maybe it's a family get together, maybe it's work, but it's any sort of an environment where you have a person with very questionable energy, questionable intentions, and you know that this person has a proven track record of being difficult. So in this case, what you're going to do is you're going to suit up energetically by imagining that you are in a protective sphere that has mirrors on the outside of it. And what will that do is that energetically, whatever the person is bringing at you will be reflected back to them. And this is actually going to be very, very useful if, for example, you are in a work environment where you have to be engaging with these people, where someone who maybe doesn't understand the nuances of the relationship or doesn't understand the nuances of the way that the person is showing up, right? So somebody that's very passive aggressive can say something, and at first glance, what they're saying maybe seems harmless enough. But if you have a proven track record with this person and you know they're going to be passive aggressive to you, then this is a great way of protecting yourself because it's not involving any sort of a verbal sparring, right? You don't have to say anything to them. You can just suit up energetically and they will be able to experience what it is that they bring to you. but there is no words that are involved. There is no actual effort involved in it. It's just where they are, one could say, for lack of a better way of also putting it, they're getting a taste of their own medicine. Now, this is actually a good time to just stop and pause, to put a pin in this and to say that the phrase "they're getting a taste of their own medicine" could maybe liken or have a person actually think, "Oh, see, this is not like high vibe or high intention. Like, why would I want to give a person a taste of their own medicine?" So this, all of the information herein is for you to protect yourself. This is in no way, shape, or form meant to harm the other person. So by suiting up energetically in the mirrors so that they can, again, for lack of a better word, get a taste of their own medicine, it is just so that next time they want to come at you with this passive aggressive or toxic energy, they will think twice about it because they already have had the experience of knowing what it feels like. Now, from their point of view, even if they don't understand what it is that they are experiencing, they will end up feeling dysregulated, they will end up feeling confused, and they will end up feeling repelled in a different kind of a way. But again, it's subtle. It's not overt. It's not loud. It's energy. It is just giving them the experience of what their own energy does. Because if anyone has this experience where you work with a Karen or somebody like that, they can be bullies, and they can actually make other people cow to submission because of their bullish nature. So if you're trying to go head to head with them and verbally spar, they're not going to get it because they have so much more experience coming at people and getting people to cow, getting people to be submissive because of their nature. So you're never going to beat them at their own game if you try to get into it verbally. So what you do is you suit up energetically so that way they can feel what it is that they are giving to other people. And no words need to be exchanged. Not one shot needs to be fired. But that is the way that you will protect yourself against these questionable people, Karens, bullies, anybody like that, that you unfortunately don't have the luxury of not being around. Someone you work with, someone in your family, whatever the case may be. But when you don't have the luxury of not having them in your life or not being around them, mirroring is one of the best things that you can actually do. Okay, now the next one is a cloak of invisibility, which sounds funny. And I know you're probably thinking, like, really, Faye, is that going to work? Oh, yes, it works. So you would suit yourself up energetically with the cloak of invisibility in any number of these situations or circumstances. Let's say you just finished having dinner with a friend and you're walking to your car and you need to walk a block to where you have parked, or maybe you're walking home from somewhere and you're maybe walking through a questionable neighborhood, or you're around people that are giving you funny vibes and you're feeling uncomfortable. This is when you would utilize the cloak of invisibility. Because what this does is energetically, it makes you invisible. Now, physically, yes, the person will still be able to see you, but energetically, you will fade into the background. You will be beige. You will be neutral. You will not be shiny and bright to them that they would be drawn or attracted to you. And I'm actually going to give you an example that was funny enough, was actually in the book Twilight. This example I'm going to give you actually happened in the first book, the first Twilight. And this is where, for anyone who doesn't know or doesn't remember, this is a book where there's a mortal girl by the name of Bella, and she becomes involved with a vampire, and through extension, his family. So they're out in a field playing baseball, and because they're making so much noise playing baseball, 3 vampires that happen to be passing through hear the noise and they're drawn to it, and they go down there to check it out. And At this time, a mortal girl among the vampires, she is safe with Edward's family, but she's not safe with these three passerbys. So what there is a vampire by the name of Jasper, and Jasper has the ability to influence emotions. Sorry, and I'm these allergies are killing me. So I know I'm like I don't know what the word is. Not snorkeling, sniffing. I'm sniffling a lot. It's so uncouth, I know, but it is what it is. The information must be shared whether or not I have allergies. So okay, now so one of the vampires that's in the Cullens family, his name is Jasper. And Jasper has this ability to cloak emotions or influence emotions, if you will. So once those three vampires that are passing by are drawn and they come to it, what Jasper is doing is he is energetically covering Bella in this invisibility cloak. And this is making her seem completely boring. It is masking her humanness. It is stifling the very one thing that those vampires would be drawn to. So we're going to swap that out and we're going to say it's not blood that you're masking, it's energy that you're masking. So if you don't want to be the sparkly, shiny being that you are, because you don't want to draw untowards attention onto yourself, again, because of location or people that are around you or whatever it is, you will cover your protective sphere in an invisibility cloak. And yes, it really does work. Okay, now the last example is not actually one where you're going to be utilizing any sort of a tapestry on top of your energetic field. So this is actually, and it sounds funny, but you're actually going to be utilizing this when you are around very, very hurt people that are not energy vampires and that you want to shield your life force energy from them. But this is going to be used against energy assassins. Yes, they exist. So I'm going to just do a slight differentiation between an energy vampire and an energy assassin. Now, first and foremost, if you have not seen my video on energy vampires, I will link it down below. You can go back and you can see it. And there's a lot of information on there on what an energy vampire actually is. But I'm going to include just a little bit in this as well. An energy vampire is a low vibration, low energy individual that wants to connect to your energy and siphon off of it. So imagine, if you will, they're going to take an energetic straw. They're going to put their energetic straw into you, and then they're just going to suck your energy at will. So any number of the other tips that I had shared, 1 through 4, would work very, very well against an energy vampire. But an energy assassin, they are their own kind of special sauce. This is somebody that wants to hurt you. And hurt people hurt people. They want to hurt you because they are hurt. And somebody that is hurt can actually end up being a very unbelievably destructive force in your life and other people's lives. So in that case, what you will actually do is similar to the way in which in the Batman movies, the light was projected out into the sky with the Batman symbol, so Batman would see it and he would know, oh, they need me. You're just going to tap in to your heart and you're going to beam love at that person. Because again, when we are of the light, when we are light beings and light workers, it is not our intention to hurt other people. Sometimes you need to protect yourself, but when there's an opportunity to actually beam love and light at somebody, that might be the only love and light that they have been exposed to. So you get to be the love and light in that person's life. You are so pure and loving in your energy that you're not going to let that person bring you down. So you just beam that love and light at them. Now, I'm also going to give you a personal example. And this is not like my comfort zone at all. And I was actually talking to a friend of mine about this, and she was like, Faye, get raw, get real, get vulnerable. And I was like, no, because that's not my purpose here. And me being any of those things is just, I felt, going to take away from the information that I'm sharing. And this channel is not, it's not my name, right? My handle is not Faye, it's Solar Flow, because I want this channel to be about the information and about the community and the interactions that we're all having. And it's about the sharing of the information. It's the exchange of the energy. It's not about me. This is not the Faye show. This is Solar Flow. So I was explaining this to her, and she's like, yeah, but it's still your channel. It's still you who is sharing the information. And I was like, but I don't want it to detract. And then I was also like, I'm a Capricorn sun. That's not my jam. No, we're stoic. We're austere. We don't bleed, you know? And she's like, Faye, you are the channeler. You are the bringer of the information. So how can you take yourself away from the information that you are sharing? It is coming through you. These are your gifts and these are your abilities to share. And part of that sharing is the sharing of yourself. And I was like, no. But then, as you guys know, when I'm going to sit down to record a video, I will always meditate prior to that. And I'll always ask for any additional last bit like information to come in that will be, you know, for the highest good of anybody that is watching the video. And as I was sitting down to meditate, this very particular instance came in. And I was like, oh, et tu, Brute? No, now my spirit guides are bringing this to me. But as you also know from all of the other videos that I have done, that our gifts and our abilities are like a faucet. And what you don't want to do is when things are coming in to turn the faucet off. So when this came in, I was like, well, fuck. If my spirit guides are bringing it to me, then it's because I'm meant to share this. So while this is not my jam, this is the jam that's getting spread on the bread that is this video today. So I'm going to share with you a personal story that had happened to me and how in that time I understood this person needed love and light, and what I have done since then, and what has happened thereafter. So I am raising a little. As some of you know, I have a son, and I have been single for many, many years now. And I was at a friend's house, and this is a friend who really likes to entertain. And this was, I would say, about a year ago. She really, really likes to entertain. She makes like weekend meals, holiday meals all the time. And her and her husband love having people over. And what happened at this particular get-together is something that might happen at any number of get-togethers, where the women end up congregating in one room and the men end up congregating in another. So us women were all hanging out in the kitchen. And one of the women that were in the kitchen, one of the mutual friends, had actually asked me if I was interested in meeting anybody. And I just started to kind of share that, you know, in my personal experience, being on this spiritual path that I am on now, that will tend to preclude a lot of different people. I was trying to not like get too technical in the terms, like, oh, I'm just not an energetic match for these people. But I was just kind of saying, like, you know, our interests could be very, very different. I'm interested in things that are of a metaphysical and spiritual nature. I don't drink wine. I've tried to really like clean up a lot of the things in my life that could take me down energetically. And I was just sharing things of this nature, right? Like energetic, like I'm not going to be a match for someone who's, you know, getting shit-faced every weekend or like doing drugs, or I was just sharing things like that. And then one of the other women that was there actually interjected, and she piped in and she got really, really loud. And she basically, this is what she said. She's like, yeah, but you're a single mom. And that's going to preclude you from like 50% of the male population because men don't want to raise another guy's kid. And I just like turned to her and I was like, huh. Because in that moment, I got to see exactly who she was. She is an energy assassin. And here's why. People don't go around hurting other people. People that are energetically healthy or emotionally healthy don't go around trying to hurt other people. So her saying that was designed to hurt me. I was saying nothing about that. I was just sharing how energetically or in my own pursuits and in my own interests, I'm just, not going to be everyone's cup of tea. But she had to take it away from the tea and she had to make it about something completely different altogether. Now, I'm also going to compare and contrast that to a different scenario that had happened to me a number of years before. I bumped into a woman, again, a friend of a friend, a acquaintance. I bumped into her at the grocery store. And she asked me how I was doing. She asked, how my son was doing, how old he was at the time. And then she said something that completely floored me. She said, "You are so blessed." And I was like, I am, but can you explain why? Talk to me about what your perception of this blessed state is. And she said to me, any guy that's going to come into your life that's going to want to get involved with you, he has more of you to love. Because your son is an extension of you. And if he loves you, there's just more of you to love through his loving your child as well. And I was like, yes. So compare and contrast those two things. There's, on the one hand, somebody that is walking on the sunny side of the street and saying, you're blessed. Because anyone that comes in has more of you to love. Versus somebody that is saying to me, you've eliminated half of the population just alone. There's one that's bringing positive vibes, and there's one that's designed to hurt. So when you are ever around an energy assassin, someone that is saying things with the implicit purpose, is that even a word? With the purpose, with the purpose of specifically hurting you, with their words, what you do in a case like that is just like that light beckoning Batman. You beam from your heart center love at that person. Because anybody that's walking around trying to hurt another person is a hurt person. And the love that we give them could be the only love that they get that day. So we beam light at them. This is not the opportunity necessarily to protect yourself. This is the opportunity to give them love. Now, I'm also going to share with you what happened in that circumstance, which was I, very, very clearly got to see who she was. But an energy assassin, they're sneaky, right? They're assassins. They're stealth. So when you are going to, have an acquaintance or be around a friend who happens to have energy assassins that are in their inner sphere, something that an energy assassin loves is drama. We cannot be the reason for them to bring drama or hype drama. So once I had seen this woman for who she was, the absolute worst thing that I could have done was to start to avoid her at events when I would see her. Because then that gives her the stealth opportunity to create drama and say to her friend or call her friend after and be like, what's up with Faye? She didn't come over and talk to me. How come? So I make a point every time I see her to go over and to say hello and to communicate with her. Not because I want to, but it's my opportunity to, first of all, send her love, because again, that might be the only love that she's going to get that day. So I'm beaming the love out to her, but it's also a way of incapacitating them against their stealthy assassination attempts against your character. The buck stops here. So I always make a point of going over to her and saying hello and engaging in small talk, which as an empath, I fucking hate, as do many of you, I am sure. But it's kind of like the price we have to pay. So I'll engage in the small talk. I will beam love and light at her. And something interesting has actually started to happen. I was recently at an event that, again, this friend, because she likes to make events, I was recently at an event that she had made. And I did not know until the very, very end of the night that this woman was even there. Had no idea. So in the past, she might, want to come up to me and talk to me or try to maybe, make sly comments about me or whatever it is. She did not come over this time. She was hiding in the corner the entire night. Because here's also the thing. Just like with the encasing yourself in pure white light, how that can actually act as a repellent against the dark entities that want to try to extract energy from you. When we are beaming pure love and light at somebody, it actually can feel very uncomfortable to them, and it can actually feel like an energetic repellent because it is so foreign to their energetic blueprint. Because of that, it can feel uncomfortable, it can feel dysregulating to them, and it can feel like they don't even want to be around it because they are so used to being in the dark and being the low energy beings that they are, that being around anything other than that is incongruent with them. It is not an energetic match, and they don't want to be around it. So that's just a further example of why they will come at you the way that they do. They are so used to being who they are. That is their energetic blueprint. They almost don't even understand how to be any other way. But we don't, homie, don't play that game. When you are attacked by an energy assassin, just send them love. Because that's what we do up here on this station. That's what I share up here. It's the reason I say at the end of every single video, stay in the high vibration. We share the world for now with low entities, low vibration entities, dark energies, people that want to siphon our pure life force energy out of us. So we have to share the world with them. But we can suit up, we can armor up, we can protect ourselves, and that's what the purpose of this video was, to suit up and protect ourselves against them. Because at least for the time being, we do share the world with them. There's the three-dimensional, and then there's all the other dimensions as well, and we're coexisting. So that is why I say at the end of every video, stay in the high vibration. The more you stay in your own high vibration, the less these darker beings and entities are going to be an energetic match with you. And when we know how to protect ourselves, they will naturally start to fall away. So, as always, I hope that you have found this video to be interesting, insightful, informative. Take what resonates and leave the rest behind. And if you have enjoyed this video, smash the like button. And until next time, stay in the high vibration.